Hello, everyone. Good morning. This is Mira. This is Questions Words. You are listening to WOBC FM 91.5 Oberlin College and Community Radio. The time is 4 o'clock in the morning. I would like to remind you of something, which is that the following program may contain content some may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. If you have any concerns, please call our operations or program manager at 415-697-4963. I'll repeat that. That is 415-697-4963. Well, thank you for joining me this morning. I want to start our show, as I like to always do, with a little song, one that I have picked out today. And it goes a little something like this. If you can hear it. Nope, not working. All right, well, I'll fix it in 1 second here. First, let's get a little bit of this going on. Yeah, that's more like it, huh? Now, how about some of this to ease our souls a little bit as we get into the morning?
Coming out with nothing, fucking roll the dice, open up that can of sardines, darling, I've been hungry, my time to meet something, ports take horrible, slow at 4 a.m. Take out in an empty room, do you want somebody to come home to the red lasso, my little wild one, tied around your throat.
And there is the song, everyone. That was Run Your Pockets by Pigeon Pit, one of my favorite bands right now. If you're just joining us, I would love to welcome you to the third ever episode of Questions Words. I'm Mira. This is a show where I ask questions and sometimes other people say words. However, though, I'm not alone today. I'm joined, as sometimes, by really a guy who I'm quite excited to be interviewing tonight. Yeah, it took me a while to get a hold of his agent because of some availability stuff, but yeah, I think you'll see why I'm excited. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Good morning, Oberlin College and Conservatory. I am Dracula.
I was gonna say, yeah, so what's your full name,
My
Dracula?
full name is Dracula.
So there are two.
There are two.
Okay, yeah. Pronouns to use for you?
He, him.
He, him?
On a good day.
Okay.
I've been trying out it's lately.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense, especially for, I don't know if you can do the whole bat transformation thing.
Oh, I can.
Yeah.
It's the 21st century, though. We
Yeah.
need to get a little more progressive.
No,
I
of
would
course,
say.
of course.
Try
But
things out. It's good for you.
in terms of like it pronouns, I feel like being able to be like an animal.
Yeah, the bad thing.
Yeah, totally.
exactly.
I usually ask for like age, year, major,
Like 1 million.
like a million. Okay, that's
Creative writing.
okay. Yeah, no, that's good stuff. Year, I guess maybe the same. Would you say you have a major?
Creative writing.
Creative. Okay. Yeah, for someone who, if you did invent writing, that would make sense.
I wrote a lot of poetry back in the day.
Yeah, me too, dude. I get it. What do you do for work, Dracula?
Well, I mostly roam the countryside, and
The countryside, in any particular place in the world, or just kind of
Romania,
in Romania? Oh, okay. So
and occasionally Appalachia, and
like Appalachia, U.S.
yes,
Okay.
and I extinguish the life force of many a hapless traveler, and sometimes a goat,
Yeah.
and sometimes a sheep, and
Now-
sometimes a virgin.
Now, when you say, what did you say? Expunge their life force?
Exsanguinate.
What exactly do you mean by this? Like, what's going on
Well,
in these interactions?
Usually what happens is
Yeah, tell me.
I fly around, sometimes in bat form.
I was gonna say in bat mode.
Sometimes in bat form.
Do you call it bat form usually? I was thinking like mode would be cool.
Some would call it bat mode.
Yeah, that's kind of
Sometimes
that's what I'm inclined to call
I fly
it.
around in bat mode.
Yeah.
And
Ooh, I like that.
I descend upon the travelers
Of course.
as they roam the countryside, walking stick in hand, sometimes 2, 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I
Like
drink,
right now,
I
dear
drink
listener.
their blood until they are a prune.
You drink.
Until they are dry like a prune.
That's a lot of blood, Dracula.
It is a lot of blood. I am a very tall man.
Yeah. Okay. I get it.
I'm standing up in the studio as we speak,
Yeah. No, it's true, and you are quite tall.
and
yeah.
I am quite tall.
Nearing 7 feet.
Yes.
Well, so I asked what you like to do for work. Is there anything else you like to do for fun?
Well, I've been taking up pottery in the last
Pottery?
in the last 100 years.
Are
or
we
so.
talking like wheel throwing?
Yeah, like wheel throwing.
Yeah.
Having a lot of fun with that.
That's great. Last 100 years or so, yeah.
I've been trying to meditate lately.
Yeah.
There's a lot of blood on my claws and hands, and
Do you have claws and hands?
the claws are on the hands.
The claws. Yeah, okay, actually, if I had thought about it like a little bit,
Yes, exactly.
that makes sense.
So, life as Dracula, it is very stressful.
Yeah?
I've been trying
Oh, I'm
to...
sorry, Dracula.
Well, it is how it is.
And yeah, it is kind of how it
I've
is.
been trying to find myself maybe a little bit more inner peace.
Yeah.
And so I've been taking up meditating, and it's good.
I think that's a very noble
It's
goal.
good.
Yeah. Could you tell me like a dream you have, like an ambition, maybe?
A dream I have. Many of my dreams are too dark for someone of your mortal blood.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say for public radio.
Yeah, also for public radio, it's not really appropriate.
That's okay. You know what? That's okay.
But
We have rules.
I had a dream the other night.
Yeah, please.
Well, I was a boy again.
Oh, and so that was a long time ago.
It was quite a long time ago. And I was frolicking around in the fields of Romania.
Of course.
And I believe my childhood weevil was there.
Your child, like a pet weevil?
I collected weevils as a child. I was quite an oddball, as they said in the school that I went to.
I could, yeah,
I
seems like it.
stepped on my childhood weevil and he died.
In the dream?
In the dream.
That's really sad, I'm
It
sorry.
was very tragic. I woke up crying.
Oh.
It's unfortunate.
I'm curious, if you don't mind me asking, so you said you're like millions of years old. How old were you when you got, you know?
The weevil?
No, you. No, how old were you when you became, so like you don't age, right?
Right.
Like how old's your body?
My body is, if we're gonna be real, probably also a million. I mean, like, I'm falling apart over here.
So you,
By your standards, perhaps 80, perhaps 90.
you know, but this was like a million years ago, so humans were not like aging super.
True.
Like probably average lifespan was probably like 30.
I believe it was probably still pretty close to like 60, 70, but
And so you were like 80?
I was...
So you were like an old guy.
I was...
Like
well,
you look pretty old now.
Yeah, well, I don't...
You're keeping it tight though,
I don't...
gotta say.
I'm keeping it fresh. I got these new kicks on.
Yeah. No, I just mean,
Air
yeah,
Forces.
your body, like, for an 80-year-old
Chrome
body.
hearts.
Yeah.
Keeping it up to date. Opium,
Opium.
etc. But, you know...
Yeah.
Well,
That's the modern era.
You see, I don't age particularly quickly.
Okay.
But you know, it's been a million years. At this point, my body is starting to look about as old as, like,
Yeah.
your grandfather.
Right. That's my question though was just like, how old were you when you got turned into a vampire?
When I what?
Are you a vampire?
Why the fuck would I be that?
Do you know what that word means?
No.
It's like, dear listener, you are listening to WOBC FM. This is 91.5 Oberlin College and Community Radio. If you're just joining us, the show is Questions Words. I'm Mira. I'm currently in deep in an interview with Mr. Dracula.
I am Dracula.
Who happened to be passing through town, yeah. And, yeah, so thanks, Dracula. That makes sense. Can I ask you to pick a number?
341.
341, that's a good one. In fact, it's so good that I would like to tell you about a little something you, Dracula, and also our dear listeners. This is the OUI, Undocu Ally Training. OBIs, for Undocumented Inclusion, will be having their biannual Undocu Ally Training Wednesday, April 9th from 5 to 6 p.m. in Dye Lecture Hall. If you are interested in learning about the undocumented experience, key terminology, issues with unhealthy discourses, and how you can support our undocumented community every day, this is the event for you. Dinner will be provided.
It is important to learn to be respectful.
It's true. It is, yeah. Thank you, Dracula. Okay, so this is something that's been on my mind. So, like, where are you from?
Romania.
Romania. So,
Yes.
okay, like, is it just like all the
But-
stories say, like Transylvania, like central Romania?
Yeah, basically, but I did not live in a manor.
Tell me.
I lived in, like, a small hut with my family.
You're hearing this, dear listener.
Yeah,
That manor,
you see,
not what happened.
I came from nothing.
From nothing.
When I was a boy, I ate dirt and rocks and mud. It is in fact through this diet that I met my favorite weevil. However,
So, like, you met the Weevil while you were, like, going for the rocks and mud.
Yeah, buddy. That is what I did.
Yeah, yeah, wow.
But over time, I grinded and I found myself. I got my money up and now we are here at the top of the world.
That's impressive. How did you make money?
I drank a lot of politicians.
Oh, drank like killed.
Yeah, like killed.
Like drank their blood.
Yeah, and then they had all this money lying around.
No, yeah, politicians tend to. It's one of the things about politicians.
Indeed.
Can you give me your top 3 bridges?
Top 3 bridges.
Yeah,
Well, I am particularly fond of the Golden Gate Bridge.
Golden Gate.
Because
certified hood classic.
Because it is not golden. And I don't know if that shit about them painting it every day is still true, but it is a fun mental image.
Well, what's the thing about them painting it every day?
Apparently, and I don't know if this is true, but this is what my father told me.
Okay.
Supposedly, they paint the Golden Gate Bridge every single day.
They paint it. Well, so I was gonna say it's not golden. Do you know what color it is?
It's like red.
Yeah, they paint it like red every day.
Yes.
Wow.
Supposedly, I do not know if this is still true.
Have you ever been across the bridge?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
I've flown across it in bat mode many times.
Oh yeah, interesting. I wonder are there like some places that you prefer to visit as a bat or
holes?
Holes.
Like small holes in trees.
Okay. Yeah,
But
I meant
if we're talking in terms of places in the world,
yes, that is more what I meant.
I would perhaps say I do not like going to the Bronx Zoo as a man because there are a lot of children and they are frightened by my decaying form.
That makes sense.
I just want to look at the goddamn seals.
No, yeah. I respect that a lot, Dracula. Do you think there are other environments where people are off-put? I mean, you do look a little bit decrepit.
I have seen better days.
Yeah, but do you worry about that when you go out in public a lot?
No.
Well, good.
Because my fit remains blindingly beautiful.
It's true. It's impossible to deny. Looking at him, dear listener, I almost cannot believe my little eyes.
I walk out at like 6 p.m. on a Friday, out on the town, all black, Rick Owens.
Yeah.
People die.
Oh, I mean, as
People
they should.
perish. They turn to ash.
They sure
at the
do.
sight of these dumb, ugly-ass Rick Owens.
I mean, they look great to me. All right, so you've named one bridge. Can I get 2 more?
Why are you asking me?
I don't know what you mean. This is an interview show where Mira asks the questions.
I see. Well, there are several bridges in Eastern Europe.
Yes.
There was one in Moscow that I was quite fond of, but
yeah.
I believe it was blown up in the 1950s. So I do not know if it is around anymore.
Okay, but I think that can still count as one of your top 3.
But I will still count it because the memories are beautiful.
Of course.
I also am partial to that one bridge in Cincinnati that I have since forgotten the name of.
Yeah, it's a good bridge. I know the bridge you're talking about.
Yeah, you know.
Yes, as a Cincinnati fan, I sure do.
Word to your mother.
Of course. Pickles or churros, Dracula?
Churros.
Any reason?
Pickles are agents of Satan. That you were not supposed to do that to food.
Is this confirmation that Dracula is anti-Satan?
He owes me $30.
I would be anti-Satan too.
He has owed me $30 for 75 years.
You know, considering that's not actually even that long.
It's not even that long, but I'm still mad about it.
Yeah, and I think that's think that's fair. That guy does not seem chill. Yeah.
He's really bad at parties.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hit me with another one.
Yeah, well, actually, my next question was for you to ask me a question. Flip the script a little bit, Dracula.
Interesting.
Do you have anything for me?
A moment to ponder.
Yeah, take your time. In the meantime, we can actually meditate a little bit and listen to these nice bird sounds. These are coming in live. We're actually sitting in a forest right now, if you don't know, dear listener.
The scenery is quite surreal.
Isn't it, right? And having the studio right in the middle is kind of crazy.
I am surprised by the production value.
Thank you. We strive here at WOBCFM 91.5 to create a realistic listening experience so that you, the listener, feel like you're sitting right next to Mira and Dracula as they converse today. Now, Dracula, as we come back, do you have a question to ask me?
What do you think is the proper number of sides a shape should have?
This is an important question, Dracula. I'm glad you brought this up. It's tough, and I don't think you can fault anyone for their answer necessarily, except for some answers, like 2. That's bullshit.
2 is lame.
2 is lame.
That is a bad answer.
I think I'm gonna go with 8.
Octagon.
Octagon.
8 sides.
Yep, Dracula. That's right.
We like to have a little fun on questions word.
We do. Yeah, thank you, Dracula. I'm glad you can understand that. Could you tell me about a lover you've had? I'm sure you've had many.
Goodness me.
You can give a few if you want, but
perhaps, well, back in about 1690.
1690.
I was in love with a woman who, it's a little risque, but she had a husband.
Well, I guess we'll let it slide, Dracula, but only if you keep telling the story.
It was 400 years ago. I was a different man.
I have
since mellowed out. But back in the
to hear
day,
it.
that sort of thing was much more common.
Oh, yeah.
And at the time...
You know what, Dracula? It even happens today.
I'm sure. It was what the children call a sneaky link.
I've heard him say that.
A sneaky link, and what a sneaky link it was.
Yeah, tell me about it.
For when you can become a bat and fly into someone's window, you get away with a lot of things. Anyway, she died of the plague.
That's sad.
It happens.
Yeah, fair enough.
There was a lot of disease, and frankly, there was not a damn shower head in that entire village. I am not surprised.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, can I have you pick a number, Dracula?
1.
Yeah. You know, that's a classic.
The classic.
It's kind of the OG, huh?
You cannot have a number without the number 1.
It's true. I would love for you to make me a promise, Dracula.
I promise that when this episode of Questions Words is over, I will not drink your blood and leave you as a human raisin.
Now, if my calculations are correct, and you're usually not, that means I should get out of this alive.
You
But
should.
I didn't realize that I was about to be threatened on my own show.
I did not threaten you.
Sorry?
Did you count the knots? Counting is my favorite activity.
Do you want to count them for me?
You bet. 1 knot.
Okay.
2 knots.
I'm with you.
That's a double negative. 3
Yep.
knots. Now we're back to no. 4 knots. Back to yes.
Okay.
5 knots.
Quadruple.
And we're back to no. So you're okay.
So you're not gonna leave me as a... Okay, that's great.
You-
Wow, I did not see the quintuple negative coming.
I was trying to figure out how much suspense I wanted to leave you on.
Of course. Yeah, it was good. I was counting, or I was trying to count, and I got a little spooked there. So I think you did a good job.
That is my promise to you. Now, Mira,
Yes.
can you make a promise to me?
Can I make a promise to you?
Yes.
Well, Dracula, I promise that we have not seen the last of you here on this show. If you'll be back in town, I promise that you will be invited back.
My schedule is quite busy at this time of year.
Okay.
But
Well, I promise you
if I'm around,
that the option is always available. We love talking to you, and we especially love the ancients around here. You know, the ones who've been around for a hot lifetime.
I will hold that promise close to my chest.
Please do.
Within my sick-ass cloak.
I really, really do like your cloak. Now, Dracula, quickly,
Yes.
Long or Staten?
What?
Pick your island.
Long.
Tell me why.
There are many people among us who will tell you that Staten Island is a real place.
There are many.
I have scoured the streets of New York extensively.
Okay.
And I can say with 100% certainty
Yeah.
that there is not a damn place that even resembles a Staten Island.
So you're picking Long just out of sheer existence.
I believe that Long Island is the only real one.
That's kind of beautiful. I think there's definitely
If
something.
someone tells you they are from Staten Island, they are lying.
I mean, no one's ever tried to tell me that, because
Good.
yeah, I think maybe you're onto something. If you're just joining us, you are listening to WOBC FM. This is 91.5 Oberlin College and Community Radio. We're here in Oberlin, Ohio. The time is 4:30 in the a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The day is April 6th, 2025. We are launching into a beautiful spring here. I would love to tell you about carbon neutral Oberlin. Oberlin College has achieved carbon neutrality. Watch for Carbon Neutral 2025 celebrations at commencement, homecoming, and other times throughout the year. I've been seeing posters for this. Dracula, this is kind of a big deal.
This is kind of a big deal. The environment is an incredibly important thing to maintain.
It really, really is.
We must protect this earth, for if there is no earth, there are no more goats for me to exsanguinate.
It's true. Do you prefer goats to humans?
Not even a little.
But you said you don't usually feel remorse, so why not just only eat humans?
Because I do not want to scare your viewers.
Oh, so you're trying to cover it up a little bit.
I am just trying to... I am not a bad guy.
Dracula.
I just do
You're a great
what
guy.
I have to.
Of course.
And what I want to.
Yep.
Quite frequently.
Yeah, I mean,
which
as you
is drink
should.
the blood of humans.
Yeah. Okay,
And goats.
I don't
and
think
sometimes the sheep.
our listenership will be too scared. I think it probably won't be them. And if it is, they got to hear an interview with their murderer. And that's more than most
pretty
people.
dope.
It's pretty dope. Dracula, have you ever met any celebrities?
Other than myself?
Yeah, yes, other than yourself.
I met James Cameron at a party.
What was he like?
15 years ago. He was a real asshole.
I'm sorry. But it's kind of cool that you met him.
It is kinda cool that I met him.
Yeah.
I met... Who else did I meet at that party? I believe Seth Rogen was there.
Seth Rogen was there. Okay,
I
yeah.
smoked pot with Seth Rogen.
That seems like Seth Rogen.
Very in character, I know. He was okay. He was fine. Not the best company, but not the worst.
Sure.
I met Mariah Carey
Wow.
the other year. I do not remember how long ago it
Yeah,
was.
no, that's fair
Frankly,
enough.
She is almost as ageless a being as I.
Honestly, you're kind of right. It's kind of beautiful.
But she was polite.
That's good. All right, let's play rock paper scissors. We're
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Scissors.
both scissors.
Let's
All right,
try
let's try again. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Rock,
Both rock. Try again.
rock,
Paper, scissors, shoot.
scissors.
Oh, you got scissors.
I
Alright.
win.
We gotta play best 4 out of 7.
That is a crazy fraction.
We gotta keep going.
Rock,
Paper, scissors, shoot. Alright, I win that one. That's 1-1. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Damn.
I win that one.
Another scissors to rock.
That's 2-1. I'm just gonna play rock every time. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Baited.
Well, I played rock every
Paper.
time, and all right, that's 2-2. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Double scissor.
Rock,
That's what they
Paper.
called me in high school.
Scissors.
Scissor. Shoot.
scissors.
Uh-oh. Dracula's up 3-2.
3-2.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. That's
Double
a
rock.
double rock. This is
Rock.
the game point, dear listener. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. And we are going to 3-3.
We are
We're going to
going-
game 7.
Going to the full 7.
All right, here it is. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Paper.
And I threw rock, Dracula threw paper, and Dracula
Dracula-
takes it. 4 out of 7.
Dracula wins a game.
Does Dracula always win, Dracula?
Dracula, you know what they say.
What do they
about
say?
The house.
What?
The house always wins. And Dracula is always in the house.
That's scary. That's the real deal.
That is the real deal.
Are you so far, are you keeping your promise?
What, that I will not drain the blood of you?
I believe it actually was not,
Yeah,
but yeah.
yeah.
So I just wanted to check in. I guess you are keeping your promise.
Well, I have not done it already. As tempting as it is to take over questions words forever,
Yeah.
I do want you to
The
be
listeners do
involved.
really love whenever you come on.
I am sure they do.
Yeah, no,
I have
definitely.
many a fan.
Definitely a
across
special
the
treat.
United States of
It's true.
America.
You know my mother? Huge fan of yours.
Really?
Yeah. Oh,
How
yeah.
old is your mother?
How old is my mother? 52.
Ooh.
A little old for you?
That's a bit on the young side.
A bit on the young side. She's also married, but again, I don't know how
That
much
has
you're
never
worried about
stopped
that
me before.
right now.
Am I right?
Yeah,
Am I right?
yeah, Dracula. Yeah, you're right. I've been thinking about something. Let freedom ring. You know, Dracula?
Let freedom ring.
Let freedom ring.
I'm in on that.
What's something that keeps you reaching for the waves?
I really like going to the beach.
Oh, so, yeah. What do you... Well, do you have to go at night? Because, of the whole...
Yeah.
Actually, I love going to the beach at night.
The beach at night is a pretty dope place to be.
Do you swim or...
Shit, yeah, I swim.
Sweet. You ever gone skinny dipping?
I have yet to try it somehow.
What kind of swimsuit do you wear?
I wear a big, disgusting wetsuit that covers my decaying flesh.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
It takes an hour to take off.
Oh, how long does it take to put on?
1 hour and 1 minute.
Okay, so a little bit longer. Yeah, that makes sense. Do you make any art, Dracula?
All the time.
What kind of art?
I have been working on a poetry anthology for the past 200-ish years.
Okay. Yeah.
I have
Are you feeling like we might be close?
We might be close. It's a very long one.
Would you maybe want to share something from it now?
Of course.
All right. Well, dear listener, this is an exclusive. Dracula's first big break, first big poetry anthology. Well, I guess you had the original, the book, which
yeah, that was.
You probably made a lot of money on that, huh?
Well, Bram Stoker really was quite stingy about it.
But because you wrote it, right? And then because you thought I don't know, that's what I've heard, is that you thought it'd be weird if people people thought that you actually wrote your own book, so you had Bram do it.
Bram Stoker was kind enough to take the credit, and then he became a real asshole about it.
Yeah, damn.
I had to drink him for the money.
Yeah. Okay, but then you got the money. That's good.
I got the money.
You got the money for your work.
Anyway,
your first big poetry collection. You're gonna share a poem with us. What's the title of this poem?
This poem is yet untitled, but perhaps I will call it Untitled Bat Poem.
Let's hear it.
2 bats fly over the evening sky, gentle into the pitch black night, full of fright and a delight. As the sunlight dips under the horizon like a spoon into oatmeal, I watch from the white picket fence as the bats fly over, and I wonder to myself, when will I be like you? And then I remember that time is now. I unfurl my leathery wings and I take to the sky, the orange bleeding sky. It is kick-ass to be Dracula.
Wow, Dracula. I feel like that was a real treat to get to hear that today. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you so much for letting me share.
Of course, that's what college radio's for. People like Dracula should have a platform for this kind of work.
I tell you what, back in my day, the idea of a liberal arts college was not really
when you
thing.
When you say back in your day, you mean like a million years ago?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Was there any kind of education system?
Well, you usually went to school to become like a blacksmith or a guy with a spear.
Yep, a fighter or something.
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you go to Harvard and you study to be a lawyer, I guess.
Well,
at least
not
that's
me.
Not you. That is just what I saw in the musical Illegally Blonde.
Yeah. They're actually putting that on here this semester.
Is that true?
That's true, dog.
Yo, that's awesome.
Yeah, we should go see it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so do you drink blood? You talked about it. You did. I was going to ask you about this, but I have a more specific question.
Yes.
Because you do drink blood, right?
Of course.
So what are different types of blood like flavor-wise? And do you have preferences? I mean, we talked a little bit about the whole experience of draining, but do you have preferences on just if you're just straight up drinking?
I have been waiting for this question for a long
Yeah, I'm glad we got to it.
O positive is largely flavorless, but if you pair it with something, maybe some rosemary, maybe some sea salt.
Okay.
You get a pretty nice base for it. Maybe a stew.
A stew. Oh, so you're talking cooking with
It's
it.
the universal type.
Yeah, well, of course.
So it is fairly without taste.
Yeah, that makes sense.
However, like I said,
Yeah.
it's a good baseline.
Yeah.
O negative is slightly more coppery.
Yeah.
It is, I would say, better if you have fewer ingredients on hand, but harder to make into something else.
So, do you usually cook with your blood, or...
On occasion.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm in a rush.
Because I was really also just asking, like... What's... I mean, what it's like when you're just draining straight from the
When
source.
you're just draining straight
Does
from
it all
the
taste the
source,
same? Like...
there are slight differences. Like I said, O positive is
pretty flavorless.
Pretty flavorless, and O negative is very coppery.
Yeah.
Type A is a little on the sour side.
Okay.
And type B is a little on the sweet side, if that's something you're into. And
It is Dracula. It's something I'm into.
And type AB positive.
Yep.
Sweet and sour.
Ooh, like
Right
chicken.
in the middle.
That sounds beautiful.
If that's something that you are seeking, it is
course.
not common to find, but it is a rare delicacy.
That sounds awesome.
I am a fan.
Yeah. Cool. Can I ask you to pick a number?
62.
I like that one. It's 2 times 31.
31 is my second favorite number.
What's your favorite number?
661.
You know, why is that your favorite number?
Because I like to say the number 1, and I like the shape of the number 6 so much that I put it in there twice.
Yeah, okay, I think that makes sense. Why do you think you're here?
In general or
In general.
in the studio?
In general.
I think I was put on this earth to sow malaise and chaos,
To sow
but also
malaise.
to stunt on the ops.
To stunt on
In
the ops.
this life and the next,
That's beautiful, Dracula.
all shall fear me.
And then, how did you get here? Like, literally.
To the studio?
Yeah, or just like, to town. I mean, you don't live here, right? So, like,
No.
How'd you get here?
I took the bus
From where?
from Cleveland.
From Cleveland. Were you chilling in Cleveland for a
I
while?
was
or?
chilling in Cleveland. I was visiting an acquaintance.
An acquaintance. Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
Shout out my buddy Ron Pulaski.
Yeah. Well, we have a section for that later. Speaking of which, if you're just joining us, you're listening to WOBC FM 91.5. This is Oberlin College and Community Radio. My name's Mira. The show is Questions Words. Today and right now, on this beautiful Sunday morning, it's 4:45 a.m. You can hear the birds starting to sing in the trees around us. I'm interviewing the one and only Dracula. Dracula has made a little stop by Oberlin to do a little interview with us, and we're having a great time. We have made it to the last quarter of the show, and that means it's time for the lightning round, things I ask all my guests here on Questions Words.
Interesting.
So we're going to keep it fast so we can end on time. So without any further ado, Dracula, ready?
I am ready.
All right, what's the weather?
Cloudy.
What's your favorite ice cream flavor,
Pistachio.
and why?
Because it is the most refined flavor.
Yeah, okay. What's your least favorite Pokemon?
I do not like Cloyster.
Yeah, I see why. What's your favorite map projection?
Blue.
I like that one too. Can you pick a number for me?
9.
Yeah. What's one place that you will never go?
Sacramento, California.
Yeah. Do you want to give someone a shout out?
MC Ride of Death Grips. My favorite band.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. That's sweet. What's one thing you've learned in the last hour?
I have learned that perhaps sharing poetry is not as frightening as I initially expected.
You know, I think that's a great takeaway, and honestly, your poem was one of the highlights of my night.
I'm very pleased to hear that.
Yeah, I wonder, I'm looking forward to when we can hear more from this collection.
For sure.
Even though, you know, I know it might not be out in the...
Poems from Dracula, coming October 31st, 2025.
Hey, that's pretty soon, actually.
I think it is time, you know.
No, that's great. And I am looking forward to as we hopefully can talk to you again closer to that date and maybe hear a little bit more about the book.
Perhaps, yes.
That sounds awesome.
It will be good promo.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure you'll probably do some kind of press tour.
Of course.
Yeah. Do you ever miss the womb, Dracula? I know it was a while ago for you.
It has been far too long.
For you to miss it?
Indeed.
Yeah. Fair enough.
It is pretty awesome being alive.
You know, I agree. It's beautiful, Dracula. I was gonna ask, do you have lots of friends and like acquaintances? Because I know you've been alive so long, probably a lot of the people you know just die.
Well,
but you said you were seeing an acquaintance in Cleveland.
It is a natural byproduct of living this long.
Of course.
I find myself making acquaintances at all times.
That's great.
I went down to Cleveland to play poker with some of my Cleveland friends.
Yeah, that's fun.
And I came to town for the show.
Yeah.
And before that, I was in London.
Okay.
And I was kind of just on a bender, to be honest.
That sounds kind of nice.
It was...
Do you partake in substances, Dracula?
I dabble.
You dabble?
On occasion.
Okay.
Not as much as I once did.
Sure.
I am an old soul. It has been far too long. I have mellowed out.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think I would too as I got older. Yeah, that's nice. Well, okay. Let's just check in. Are you keeping your promise so far? I think you are.
So far, well,
I have not
do you
been.
Feel more dead?
No, I feel the same amount dead, which is not.
Then you are probably in the clear.
Okay, that's great news. Do you want a freestyle? I can give you a beat.
Yes.
All right. Dear listener, this is let's do some freestyling. All right, here's a little bit of a.
Yeah. My name is Dracula. I'm getting scary on the beat. The beat goes and I stomp my feet. Leathery wings I take to the sky. You see me and you will start to cry. I'm from 1,000,000 years ago. That's a long time. Don't you know? If you are bad this Christmas, I will come down the chimney and I will eat you. My name is Dracula. I am out on the street. Yeah. Let the beat rock. That was pretty good, I would
Thanks,
say.
Dracula. That was pretty hot. I think we could do that again sometime.
I would be delighted.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. Well, Dracula, we have a few minutes. Do you have any final questions for me? Any final things you want to make sure we address before you are on your way? I don't know when you'll make it back here.
I will probably be back eventually, but...
Yeah, but what else you want to get in before we leave?
What are you most afraid of?
What am I most afraid of? What is Mira most afraid of? It's a good question. I think I am most afraid of irrelevance. Like,
Interesting.
and I don't just mean it for other people. I feel like I want to be relevant to others and myself, and feel like to be relevant to myself, it takes a lot of being willing to keep moving and keep trying things, because that's how I keep my brain exciting and relevant. And so I'm really scared of not being relevant to, both to other people, because that feels really good, and that feels like what life is for, getting that kind of validation from other people, but also myself, because if I'm not relevant to myself, then what do I have to do anything for? So yeah, I think that's what I'm most afraid of, Dracula.
I think I am most afraid of horses.
You know, horses are really scary.
I do not like the shape of their faces.
It's really long. You know what they say?
It is really long.
Horse walks into a bar. You know this one?
Why the long face?
Exactly. I don't know anything else the rest of that joke at all.
No.
No. It's
That
okay.
joke has not evolved over the last million years.
Yeah, no, not really. Well, Dracula, we're just about getting to that point in our show where you have chosen a song to finish our night.
Indeed, I have chosen a song.
So that song would be the legendary Aphex Twins, Alberto Balsalm. Would you like to tell us about this song? Why you chose it?
I am a big Aphex Twin fan.
Of course. Yeah.
And
Aren't we
this
all?
song speaks to me. It sounds like being inside of a bathtub, but the bathtub is sad.
Being inside a bathtub, but the bathtub is sad.
I have always admired Richard D. James's production. He
Sure.
was light years ahead of his time back in 1995 or whatever.
It was 95. Good, Dracula. You know your Aphex Twin history.
Of course.
Well, yeah, this has been Questions Words with Mira, the legendary Dracula, on tonight. Thank you so much, Dracula, for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Mira.
Yeah, I hope you come back again soon. And to finish us off, yeah, here is Aphex Twins, Alberto Balsalm.